Next topic involving some Cavs trades. A quick reminder, if the Cavs do make a coaching hire at any point this week, we will hop on live, no matter what time it is, as soon as we can afterwards on the Ultimate Cavs Show to break down who that is. And we'll talk Cavs coaches after this next segment coming up. But if it is a coaching hire for the Cavaliers, make sure you guys tap into our YouTube page. Doesn't matter if it's 3 in the afternoon, during the show, or 7 o'clock at night. We will hop on and get you guys some instant reaction to that. All right, we talked about Guardians trades. Let's talk a little Cavs trades. I was asked to come up with some hypothetical Darius Garland trades for the offseason. And when I get asked to do something, I do it. So we made 8 of these. 8 hypothetical Darius Garland trades this offseason. We'll do some Jared Allen trades. We'll do some Evan Mobley. We'll do some Donovan Mitchell. We'll do some trades for all these guys in the coming weeks. But we're going to start today with Darius Garland. And here's how it's going to work, Bull. I'm going to give you guys the hypothetical trade. I'll let you guys discuss it. And then I talked to 2 NBA coaches and a Cavs fan who's not involved with UCSS to see what they thought about it. So I'll tell you what some league guys say about the trade after you guys discuss.
Okay.
So I'll give you the trade. You tell me what you think. I'll give you my reasoning if you guys have questions. And then you can tell me if you think the Cavs would say yes or no, if the other team would say yes or no. And then I'll show you what the league sources say. So you ready for the first hypothetical Darius Garland trade?
Let's see it.
San Antonio's a team that has been connected to Darius Garland, but they say Wemby and Devin Vassell are off limits. So taking them out of the equation, for Darius Garland, would the Cavs consider Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, and the number 4 pick in this 2024 NBA draft for Darius Garland?
The 4th pick, Jeremy Sohan and Keldon.
Does the money match on that?
It does. The money all matches on this stuff.
Yeah.
This has all been run through multiple trade simulators. The money matches on all of these.
Tell me a little more about Keldon Johnson and Jeremy Sohan.
Keldon Johnson averaged about 18 points a game. He's a scoring guard, a little undersized, more of a 2 than a traditional 1, but he's on a relatively good contract. He makes a little more than he probably should, but it's not outrageous.
Yeah.
Sohan was a top 10 pick 2 years ago, a 6'9" wing who doesn't have a ton of offensive upside. Or ton of shooting upside. He's more of a little offensive playmaker. Not a great fit next to Wemby.
Yeah.
But he's a guy who's a top 10
All
pick,
right.
good defensive player, wing, and then obviously the 4th pick is the 4th pick in this draft.
But it's not worth as much as a traditional 4th pick,
No.
I guess.
I would tell you that trade is not that bad.
I would.
If the Cavs took that trade, I would not be all the way upset about it. I really wouldn't be.
This trade seems like a great trade for the Cavs. I don't know.
I would not be upset about it.
I think it's very reasonable on both sides. I don't know. It's tough because like the Cavs aren't going to be drafting very high, so you'd like a young guy with the 4th pick, but this isn't a great draft. But also,
you can also get the best player at 4 because there's no consensus number 1.
that's exactly it. I think there's decent players in this draft. There's just not high-end elite talent. I don't think that's bad.
Give me, in theory, who would the Cavs take it for? Give me a crazy.
I mean,
I know it could be
consensus
8
on
different
top
guys,
three,
but give me your pick. Who'd you pick?
A couple of top prospects. Alex Sarr, the center from. Now, not saying the Cavs would take him, but the top prospects.
Give me somebody that's a fit that could go at 4.
A small forward.
The Rissiere, the small forward from France, Zachary Rissiere.
How big is he?
6'7", 6'8". More of an offensive.
All right, so you want Johnson, Sohan, and him, or you want Garland? It sounds like it makes that. This to me, I wouldn't. Why would the Spurs make this trade?
Because
they need a point guard.
Desperately they do need a
him
point guard.
Him and Wemby and Vassell would be. And they all young, so that would be for the future.
All right, I would do this if I were the Cavs. Would you guys?
If Darius requested a trade, I would take the trade.
Even if he didn't request a trade, I would do it.
Jason, what say you?
I'm in the camp that Darius is my favorite player on the Cavs, and I don't want to let him. I don't want to trade him. But if he requested a trade and I was granting him that, I would take the trade.
I'm really torn. I'm more torn than I thought because I thought I was going to say no to a lot of these.
I thought I was.
This is pretty good, Mike.
That's a good trade.
Sohan's a 3, yeah.
So your starting lineup would be in theory, Allen, Mobley, Donovan, and those 2 guys, right?
Yeah, and with all of these, this is just Garland trades. You can make other trades if you want to trade.
Right, but I'm saying, in theory, this is the one trade they make.
Yeah.
Because then I would make Donovan play the 1, Keldon play the 2.
Right.
And then
that's a pretty damn good defensive front court with Sohan.
All right.
So, like I said, I asked 2 NBA coaches and a Cavs fan not related here.
Yeah.
This is what these guys said. One NBA coach said the Spurs would say no immediately. One coach said they'd think about it, and the Cavs guy said he'd also think about it. So no one said a absolute no for the Cavs. I'm brand with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a better trade for the Cavs than the Spurs to me. I don't know, but that could be crazy.
All right, number 2.
Yeah.
And there's a little caveat with number 2. It's with Houston. And Houston has 3 wings, Tari Eason, Amen Thompson, and Cam Whitmore. It's essentially take your pick of those wings. It's whatever one you like the most. So for Darius Garland, if the Rockets offered Fred VanVleet, one of the wings, and the number 3 pick in this year's draft,
I would take Thompson.
would you do it?
Fred VanVleet's on the decline, right?
Yeah, I don't like that for the Cavs.
Fred VanVleet,
You couldn't even say his name.
Fred VanVleet.
VanVleet is on a equally as expensive but
Yeah, I
shorter
don't like
deal,
his
so you get out of the
contract.
deal first.
He got overpaid. And
What
What
did he do last year? Like,
Nothing. But when he was with Toronto, he was really good.
he was really good back in the day. But how old is he now?
Little older. He is 30 years old. Last season, he averaged 17.5 points per game. He shot 39% from 3, 41 from the floor, 8 assists. So he was at 17.5, 8, and 39%.
But he's small too, though.
Yeah.
Like, so
He is-
you're
I don't like
essentially going with the same.
I don't like this deal.
I'm cool.
So 2 no's. Jason, what say you?
I said no.
3 no's. Let's see what the league sources here say. Who says no? Both league sources say the Rockets would say no chance of that.
Of course. I mean, you told me this Cavs fan had credibility.
He does. He does.
Oh, he said the Cavs would say no.
He
when
said
we
the
were
Cavs
with
would
him.
say
Yeah,
no.
okay, you're
The
right.
league sources
I'm
say the
confused
Rockets
by
would
your
say no.
graphic. Who says no? Anyway.
It's funny. Ant said that this morning. And I was like, no, it makes perfect sense in my head. So maybe
Yeah.
Ant was right.
But no, I see what you do. I didn't
Yeah.
understand the first one, but now I get it. Now I
Okay.
see it.
So both NBA guys
first
said
one I
the
didn't
Rockets would turn
understand.
the
it down.
Rockets would turn that
Are
trade
we
down.
underestimating how good Fred VanVleet is? Like,
What
I
I
didn't watch
learned-
the Rockets play. Were they? Is he in a major decline now in his career?
Major, I don't know, but he's a small guard in 30, and that's typically where the decline starts to
Yeah,
happen.
right.
However, what I learned doing this exercise, I talked to more than just 2 guys. The value of Darius Garland ranges widely.
Yes.
Like,
And it's deflated.
team to team, and it is deflated, but some teams like him significantly more than others.
Right.
And
That's
there
the
was
old
real no
cliche.
consensus.
It only takes one.
Only takes one.
It only
Fair
takes
enough.
All right, trade number 3 then.
Trade number 3.
What if the Wizards called and offered the Cavs Kuzma and number 2 in this year's draft for Darius Garland? And this trade's kind of, you have to trade Jared Allen in a separate trade if you're getting Kuzma. But this would be
I don't
insistent on moving Mobley to the 5. Kuzma's your 4.
I don't necessarily hate it. I don't hate this
Yeah.
because Kuzma's a good player. He could come in and he could contribute right away. He has moments where he's really good. He has moments where he doesn't do a thing. Pairing him with Donovan, I think could work for him because I think right now the reason with the Wizards because he's like the only star and Jordan Poole isn't who they thought he would be, so he's forced to do a lot. But if he takes a little bit of that role off because Donovan's there, I think he could be a better player. With the number 2 pick, you're essentially picking
Whoever you like.
Whoever.
Right? Your best player. What were Kuzma's numbers last year, Mike?
Kyle Kuzma last season has been a pretty good player in his career. Last year, he averaged 22.5 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 47% from the floor, and 34% from
But in terms of the scoring, it's like they're such a bad team. How do you know?
Yeah,
like how
Somebody's
legit
got to
that?
score the points.
For his
so-
career, 17.5 points, 6.4 rebounds, 3 assists.
I'm not a huge Kuzma fan.
I'm not a
Me
huge
personally.
Kuzma fan either, but if Darius requested a trade, and
Why
I
would
had
the
to
Wizards
trade,
do this?
and I had to trade him
Why would the Wizards do this?
Yeah.
You don't love anyone in the draft.
because Jordan Poole ain't who
And
they
you
thought
could get
they
a guard
was.
under contract who you think would be your best
Yeah,
player.
but they're so bad. Like,
They need the pick. I think both sides say no to that, actually.
They definitely need to pick.
I don't think the Wizards.
Because you pairing him with Jordan Poole, and that's
The Wizards,
not gonna do
I
nothing.
think the Wizards would definitely not do this. With the Cavs, it depends what Kobe thinks of Kyle Kuzma. You don't like him.
Right.
But if Kobe
I
thinks
don't
Kyle,
like him either, for the record.
But if Kobe loves Kyle Kuzma, he'd probably make this trade.
I
'cause he
don't love
think
Kyle
second
Kuzma
pick.
either, but
I think you're underestimating how much
He loves
They love how
Garland.
much the Cavs organization loves Darius.
Yeah, I hear you.
I love Darius.
All right,
too.
go ahead. Show
Let's
us
see
the
what
results.
But if he
the league
requested
guys
a
say.
trade, then I have to trade him. Okay, Greg Popovich.
We had one for each here. We had one guy in the league say the Wizards say no to that. We had one guy say, hey, I think he'd think about it. And that was dependent on them trading Jared Allen in a separate deal.
Yeah.
And
All right.
then from the Cavs side, agreeing with you guys. Not enough for Darius Garland.
Well, but we also said the Wizards wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I didn't give them both options. I gave
Yeah.
them one.
I actually think the Wizards would be quicker to say no than the Cavs, maybe.
They need the pick because they ain't
Go ahead.
got nobody.
Next.
Number 4, the Brooklyn Nets.
All right.
Who is
How about
it?
this?
Who?
Darius Garland for Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and 2 second-round picks, a 2025 second-rounder from Miami and a 2026 second-rounder from Brooklyn. Gives you 2 wings with size.
No.
3 and D prototypes
No.
for Darius Garland.
I'm cool.
I don't know enough about those guys to know how good are they.
I'm saying no, Jason.
Cavs do love their second-round picks. They love acquiring
They've done nothing
second-round
with
picks.
any of them.
They bundle them together and move around the board a little bit. I like Cam Johnson. What's his contract?
He signed 5 years, $95 million last season.
I do like Cam Johnson.
What did he average last year, Mike?
I
Cam Johnson
think
last
the Nets
year-
say no.
Averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 45%, 40% three-point shooter. He's 6'8", wing with size and athleticism.
I think the Nets say no.
Here's what the league says.
I would
Both
not.
league
I think
sources-
the Cavs say no.
Both league sources said, thinks the Nets would think about it. Thinks the Cavs would think about it. Cavs guy said no. So, Jason, you're on the outside, so you think the Nets would say no.
I usually no.
So
right.
far, through 4, we're halfway through.
Yeah.
Your favorite one so far, the Spurs trade.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I
The
like
Spurs
that
the
one
best one.
I like the Nets one too. I said that I think the Nets
yeah?
say no.
Yeah. No.
I like,
all right.
I like the Nets one
Yeah.
too.
Okay, next up, it's a little Timberwolves trade. We have 2 Timberwolves trades here, 2 separate ones. The first one, Garland and Dean Wade for Karl Anthony Towns.
Who's Minnesota's point guard? They got an old point
So
guard.
we
Mike
want.
Conley.
So we
Entering.
1,000% trade Jared on this one.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
other deals are pending. This is just focusing on Garland potential.
I would do that.
I
if
would
was
take
the
that
Cavs.
trade. I think I would take
I
that.
would
No
do that
Towns.
if
is
I don't
known
think-
to
I
be a
don't-
joker.
You don't need him
But-
to be the number 1 player.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah.
He's an outside shooter, so you
Yeah,
can,
you
know,
spreading the floor.
Yeah, I would do that.
I'd
if I were
take
the
that
Cavs.
trade.
I don't know that the. I would put that in the think about,
Yeah.
but I don't think Minnesota would do that ultimately.
I don't
know why.
Well,
I think you get more for Karl Anthony Towns than Darius.
I agree.
I think
with
you
Jason
could,
on this.
I
I
agree
think
with
the
that
T-Wolves
statement
would say
too.
no.
I think the T-Wolves would say no too. But if I'm the Cavs, I'd take that trade.
Carly Anthony Towns' contract is a little more than Darius, and it goes up. He signed a max extension, but the first 2 years were lower. They go up in salary. And Minnesota is a second apron luxury tax team, so they could be looking to shed a little
get
bit
under.
of salary to get
Yeah.
under, which plays a factor in this. We asked
When
our
you,
3
by the way,
guys.
when you match salaries, is it the average of the contract remaining?
It's next year's number.
Oh, it's just next year's number.
Next year's
okay,
number, yeah.
got it.
So we asked, like I said, our 3 sources. One league source said the Timberwolves shut that down immediately. One, and the Cavs guy
Yeah.
said they think about it.
The Cavs guy said, think about it. Cavs fan, you wouldn't do that if you're a Cavs fan?
Well, I don't think
He didn't give him an option to say
do it
yes.
not an option. It's just.
Would you think
no,
about
I
it
think
or
about
no?
it.
Yeah, I
Is
got
how
you.
it-
From a Cavs perspective, I like that one the best.
I like, yeah. Well,
Towns and Mobley together,
that'd be nice.
in terms of skill sets and pairing, what one has and what the other doesn't, and vice versa,
fit well.
makes
he
a
a
pretty
little,
damn good big
he's
man.
a little zesty, but
Yes,
I
would.
he's
I
a
like
good
that
player.
one the best of
Little,
Cavs.
little zesty though.
Didn't he start COVID in the NBA?
No,
No.
No, that was
Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
Oh, Rudy Gobert. Yeah.
didn't
He lost.
start it.
He lost.
I'm joking.
His mother died from
Yes.
COVID.
No, yeah, Carl's.
Yeah,
Carl.
Cat's
yeah.
been through a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, this is another Timberwolves trade. Before you take this one, Steve, I was asked to include this one particular player in a trade. Someone told me, hey, I want, and I'll tell you who it is in a sec, I want player X on the Cavs. How do we do it? I think this is probably the most unrealistic of them all. So I'm putting that out there now.
Anthony Edwards.
But
So it had to be an Earl
but
trade.
it was not Earl.
Okay.
But someone asked me and said, we drafted Isaac Okoro instead of Jaden McDaniels in that draft. I want Jaden McDaniels on the Cavs. He'd be a perfect fit. How do we get Jaden McDaniels? So I said, okay, I'll put it in the machine. The reality is there's no real way to do this. So, Steve, this is what I came up with. Garland and Craig Porter Jr. for McDaniels, Mike Conley, and Nikhil Walker-Alexander. I'm 99.999% confident Minnesota hangs up the phone immediately.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, why on earth would they do that?
Yeah, why would they do?
I gave you the context of this for a reason. This was not my brain. This was
You want to throw Sam Merrill in? Maybe that'll put the deal over the top.
no. I tried it. Put him over the
He's
cap.
untouchable.
Yeah.
Sam
No.
Merrill's
It literally
untouchable.
put him over the cap. They can't take any extra money back, which is
Okay.
why trying to match these salaries to get to Garland's salary, you have to give up way too much. And so this is a no. So
Yeah,
Steve, let's see
that's
the
unrealistic.
let's see the answer. We'll get to the two final ones that are more realistic. But you can tell me
Did you not?
who said what. Both guys I talked in the league said the Timberwolves shut that down immediately. Cavs guy said he'd think about it. So
Think about it.
Well, again, yes,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not an
that's
option.
right. I
the
forgot.
Cavs should think
I
about
keep
it.
forgetting.
Yes. So yes, I got to figure out a better way to maybe
Yeah.
phrase
No,
that.
that's my fault. I forgot. Go
Okay,
ahead.
two more.
Yeah.
This one we've discussed
He
prior.
should have had yes, no, think about it.
Yeah.
This, but then you got both teams and it turns
Yeah,
into
forget
six
it,
things on
forget
a
it, forget
graphic.
it. Go ahead.
I got to have a better way
It's
to do
fine.
it.
You
You're
did
right.
fine. It's my fault.
Next up, we've talked about this one. This is a straight up 1-for-1 trade. Garland for Brandon Ingram. Straight up, salaries match exactly.
I'm curious what the NBA guys said about this.
I'm pretty sure they said think about it.
I would probably do it. You don't like Brandon Ingram, right?
No, I'm actually higher on him than Mike.
Oh,
is.
you would do it.
I don't love him, but I'm higher on him than Mike.
You
is.
think which do you think either team would say no, or they both think about it?
I'd say it's a think about.
Would you do this? I guess that's a no from Tyvis.
Ty, you wouldn't do it?
No, I'm
He
not.
won't even answer.
I'm not a big Brandon Ingram fan. I'm not a fan of somebody that's only going to be there for 40 games.
Well, I mean, Darius Garland he plays a million games.
Yeah, he just had his jaw broke last season. That's
Yeah,
all.
because he's soft.
Darius does have a
He's
lot of
not
injuries.
soft. I mean, he is soft, but not because he has a jaw broke. I'm just kidding.
All three in this case said think about it. It's the most realistic
Yeah.
and probably plausible of all of these. All three said think about it. So I was talking to one coach, and I did not have this next team on the list of potential trades. And he goes, you got to put one together for this team. And I said, all right, I'll go to the machine. I'll come up with something. And it was the Orlando Magic, which I don't think the Cavs would trade Garland to Orlando. But for the sake of this is the ultimate do 4 quarters equal $1 trade. Jason, I'm very curious what you think about this because the reaction I got on the back end, I was a little surprised at. Would you trade Darius Garland for Jonathan Isaac, Wendell Carter Jr., Anthony Black, and a 2025 first?
100%. That's a no-brainer for the Cavs, isn't it?
I like Isaac.
I like
really
it.
like
Isaac.
Wendell Carter's a solid player, too.
Yeah.
He is.
He can shoot for a big guy, too.
Correct.
And you get a first-round pick.
I'd put that in the I'd put that in the
Think
about for the Cavs. Orlando needs a point guard, but I don't think they do it.
Why would the Magic give up that much to get a point guard?
Isaac's entered the last year of his deal. Anthony Black was a top 10 pick who couldn't crack their rotation.
Yeah, I
this
didn't
year.
even know anything about him, but
A first-round
money
pick
match.
could be a late first-round pick in 2025 with the cap space they have to add Garland and another guy that could be a late first-round
Ooh,
pick.
Darius
It's
and
pushing the
Paolo.
chips in on the table in
Ooh,
a
that
similar
could
way
be nice.
to how the Cavs went for Donovan Mitchell. It's pushing their chips in and
Yeah.
saying, we think we could be pretty good now.
yeah.
Those
Is there any
guys may not
chance
be-
Anthony Black can become something with the right coach?
Yeah, he's a top 10 pick, 6'7" point guard. I mean, he could play. He's good in college.
I put the Cavs in the think about, and Orlando says no.
Bull?
I would say both teams. Nah, I'm with Jason. I'm going with him. Same as Jason.
Tyvis? Would you do that?
Orlando does need a point guard.
They need a point
I would
guard.
definitely
Darius
do
would-
it.
If I'm Orlando, I think would be like they try to maybe take one of
Could
them.
they get a
out.
better point guard than Darius?
But that's what pick they got? 10?
It's not this draft. It'd be in the next draft.
Oh, okay.
So it's probably going to be a low pick.
Yeah, it's gonna be a low pick.
It's probably between 16 and 24.
And quite
So they
honestly,
ain't getting-
there would be
it's-
protections on that pick.
it's
anyway.
worth nothing. Orlando would. I think Orlando would take that.
It's really the ultimate 4 quarters for $1 because none of those guys by themselves is a
No,
Darius Garland caliber player. But when you add them up, the pieces to the puzzle may be a better puzzle than the fit with Darius Donovan.
That'd be another trade where you trade Jared Allen also.
Yeah.
And then you'd have Mobley, Wendell Carter, and Isaac in
That's
your
the
front
3
court.
bigs. You probably would have Isaac come off the bench, but
Okay.
But I mean, him and Okoro, you locking up a lot with them two. Sheesh.
yeah, it gives you a little more flexibility. And Wendell Carter Jr. could shoot.
Yeah.
Shooting big. So I asked the league guys, I asked the Cavs guy. All 3 said on this one, they think about it too.
Interesting.
Okay.
Right in
Well,
line.
one of those guys was the guy that suggested that he didn't. So
One
the
of the
person
guys-
you spoke to who said Orlando trade, he
Yes.
didn't suggest a trade to you?
No, I then sent it back to. He said you should put together something for Orlando.
Uh-huh.
NBA coaches aren't messing around with the trade machine. Trust me, they have bigger priorities.
Well, but I thought maybe when he brought it up to you, he had not the full trade, but maybe an idea of what it would be.
No, I sent it back to him and he said, "Yeah, I'd think about that." So,
Yeah.
all right. So of those, before we move on to the James Borrego discussion, one in particular you stand out as the one you like the most and the most realistic. Give me one each, Bull.
It's either I think almost all of them are somewhat realistic.
No, not the.
I think the most
not
real-
the Jaden McDaniels. It ain't happening.
Well, besides that one, I think the most realistic is the one with what's his name, the injured guy,
Ingram.
Ingram. But I think the 2 I'm most interested in are San Antonio and the Orlando trades. Those I'm fascinated because you get 2 kind of interesting players and the draft pick. But I think in the end the San Antonio one because you get a guaranteed pick now, even though it's not a great draft. But you might find somebody. Not that I trust Kobe Altman.
Oh, they've
Get it
done a nice
right.
job on drafts. They haven't always gotten the best player at that spot.
Right.
But they haven't missed on their picks. They've done a nice job.
Okoro's not a miss.
No, he's not a miss. Look at the contract he's going to sign this summer. That's not a miss.
He's a single.
Yeah, he's a single. That's right.
He's a sick.
Jason, what was your favorite and your most realistic?
My favorite for the Cavs perspective is Minnesota. I think that fits them the best.
Oh,
The Karl
And
Anthony
the
Towns.
one I think is most realistic is probably New Orleans. The Brandon Ingram.
I think the New Orleans one is the most realistic. My favorite one is probably either that Cat one or the Spurs.
You guys don't like the Orlando
Spurs.
one? that much.
No, I like it.
I love it. I just don't
I
think
like
they.
it.
I don't think.
I
they
think the
are.
Minnesota one is best, and then from the Cavs perspective, I like the Minnesota one the best, and then probably San Antonio and Orlando after that.
All right. So I think those are the 3 best for the Cavs.
But
do
I
that?
also think there's a really good chance Darius is still here in the fall.
Yeah, when
I
they
don't-
asked to
I
make
don't-
fake
I don't
trades,
want
it
them to
doesn't
be
mean
gone.
we're advocating for them to actually trade him. We're just
I am
trying to have some
advocating
fun.
for
I
them.
know you are, but
I'm just telling you right now, Cavs are telling teams they're not trading them. So what? Now that doesn't mean it's posturing. It's June,
Yeah.
but I'm just telling you right now, they're telling teams we're not trading them. We'll see.
I don't.
I don't believe them.
We'll see.
His value is down, as you guys have talked about.
But
Which
it
is
all-
More reason not to trade them.
right, but maybe they're trying to convince a team to up an offer or something.
I don't know. We'll see.
before we move on, real quick, how'd I do?
Really good.
Great.
That was a really good one.
Thought-provoking at least?
That's probably the
Really
best
good.
trade scenarios you've had.
Yeah, I mean, those were
in
all
any of your scenarios.
outside of the Jaden McDaniels one. They were all.
But he
within-
got asked. He
which
got
I said,
asked to do
you know, I
that.
gave
you got
the
forced
context.
into.
Yeah.
The others were all within the realm of reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually people make up trades and they're all stupid and one-sided for the
Darius
for the team.
Garland for Apollo Banchero.
Yeah, right.
And then
Exactly.
some money match.
Cavs say no. All right, let's talk a little James Borrego.